and welcome to Out of the Bag. This is Sean Maguire live on Healing Oracle Radio, but similar to last week, this isn't actually live. This is a pre-record for my show. It is Saturday, the 29th of April, and I have Laura Kelly with me. Laura, are you with me?
I am, yeah. How are you, Sean?
I'm not too bad. Now, apologies for having to put this onto a telephone call rather than the way I usually do it, but hopefully it'll work out all right. It sounds quite good to me. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfect, Sean.
Brilliant. So listen, Laura, let us know a little bit about yourself and why you contacted me to come on the show.
Right, well, everyone knows my story, Sean. The 3rd of September 2016, social workers came into my home with members of An Garda Síochána and forcibly took my kids out of my home without any court orders or any documentation whatsoever.
Right.
I've been in and out of court since they're going for like an interim care order every 28 days. And I was requested to do a couple of things, counselling in the loss of my kids being took, and I had to complete a forensic psychology assessment which lasted like nearly 3 months. So I was doing that from November right up until January. So I passed 80% of my forensic psychology assessment. I passed, and basically they want me to get more counselling because they said I was a very emotional person, and the loss of my kids kind of impacted my life to such an extent that they thought I was very emotional, even speaking about my kids, which I don't find that a bad thing, Sean. I am quite emotional over my kids, and it has like tore my life upside down.
Anyone,
my kids.
Anyone would be, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
now the reason my kids were took, and like everyone knows this, Sean, the whole country knows about my case, was domestic violence. My ex-partner, the partner of my kids, like for a number of years, beat me nearly like every day of the week. And of course, naturally enough, I contacted the Gardaí, and the Gardaí like would not arrest him, would not do nothing, just told him to leave the home, and he'd come back then. And you know, it was the same process. It kind of was the same process the whole time. He was coming back, like subjecting me to violence, and still nothing was done. So then on the 3rd of September, they came in and took my kids.
And in that interim period, you didn't put out a barring order on your partner or anything?
I actually did have a barring order. I got it in the District Court of Mullingar, and when I rang off to say, look, I have a barring order, and like my own mother knows this because my brother was with me the day I got the barring order, and the guard said they couldn't find it on file. Now there's a number of issues to this case, Sean, that I'd like to run by you.
Yes, please do.
I got into a new relationship last April, and you know, the guards had a problem with this man, and a detective from Mullingar, Eire Nocton, came to my home and said if I didn't stay away from this man, that he would make sure my children ended up in the care of the state. So there's a number of issues that I find this whole case is sinister. I've actually done nothing wrong. I've completed what I was asked to complete, and still they won't accept the forensic psychology report, so they want me to go to their HSE health board. Now I know what they're planning on that. They don't want me to go to an independent psychologist. They want me to go through their regime, which, like, I mean, I'm not going to do that, Sean, because I've already completed my counselling.
Yes.
And I'm not going to any more counselling. I don't see why that's significant.
This is a very, very big picture because it's happening a lot around the country. And what I was...
But Sean, the thing about it is, right, they had no emergency. They said they took my kids in a Section 13 emergency care order. When I went to Mullingar District Court, they said there was no Section 13 on file. So, I mean, this whole case is corrupt, and everyone knows it's corrupt.
And do you know where your children are now?
I do. 2 of my kids are in Dublin, and 2 of my kids are in Drogheda.
Right, okay. So they split them up as well as take them away?
Yeah. Now, Sean, everyone knows if you don't get your children back after 2 years, and even if you have completed everything they've asked you to complete, there's a harder launch to get your kids back, and I'll explain why. Because after 2 years, naturally enough, the children are going to grow close to the foster parents, and Tusla are going to fight their grounds that it would be emotionally unstable for the children to be returned home after a period of 2 years, because it would be just too emotionally draining on the children to return them home. Now, everyone knows this. I know all about Tusla corruption. I know how the gas...
Can you explain who Tusla are to people who maybe don't know or nescient of who Tusla
are a breakaway group from what was formerly known as the HSE, and everyone knows about the Grace case. Look what they did to her. They covered that poor creator's case up. They covered up her rape and what was done to her, and it was just horrendous. Like, I studied that case like in and out, Sean, and it was absolutely, I cried my eyes out. This was an intellectual disabled young woman, and I mean the stuff that she was subjected to was absolutely horrendous. I actually got sick.
And this is the stuff she was subjected to in care?
In care, in a foster home down south, and they covered it up, and they kept her in the home for a number of years afterwards, and to this day they can't operate on her bowels, Sean, because the operation had killed her. She'll never be able to use her bowels again. And I mean, she was awarded there I think it was 6.3 million there. I read it up there the other day. And I mean, money is nothing, Sean. I mean, how is that going to make her life any better from what happened to her? Like, whether she's intellectual disabilities or not, that's not the case. That does not matter, Sean. This was a young person that deserved every chance at life, and she never got it over them parasites, because that's what they are.
Well, people don't realise. I mean, I spent a lot of time leading up to the children's referendum, trying to explain to people that this is going to take away the power of the family. And it's actually, if we voted yes for the children, it's vote yes for children's safety. It was a load of bollocks. What actually...
It was a load of bollocks. Yeah, it took away parents' full parental rights.
Exactly.
By the fucking idiots, excuse my French, Sean, for the idiots that voted yes in that referendum. Everyone knows that was the downfall of our children in this country.
That was handing the power of our children, our sons and daughters, to the state. Yeah. And we know what the state is like, so they can't even look after themselves. And we know how corrupt Sean, the state is.
The thing about it is, right, I just find this whole thing, it gets me so upset, because my daughter is 9, she's autism. Now, my access is every 2 weeks. I have not been allowed to see her in 2 months. Right. She keeps saying to me, she doesn't want to see you. Now, I know, because I've all my children's photographs all over social media. We were like 2 peas in a pod, Sean. We never left each other's side, and I have not been allowed see that child. I've not been allowed any contact with her, and I know something. My own mother thinks she's been abused, and she showed up at Access the number one times with bruises on her. This is a little baby that has autism, a 9-year-old baby that has autism. She's showing up at Access. The last time I seen her was February, the end of February, and she showed up with marks on her, and she was quite distressed, and she was walking up and down and saying that she felt quite anxious and she felt sick. And I know I actually met the foster mother, Sean, and I'm a good judge of character, and there's just something. This whole case is sinister. If I told you the details of my case, like you'd physically get sick.
Right.
I've not been allowed to see her, and I have on record on my Olympus recorder where she told me last September, when my first access after they were took off me, that the foster mother was biting her, was pinching her, and all she got for she told me in around the Christmases that all she got for her Christmas dinner was chicken nuggets and chips and beans.
Nice.
And when I mentioned that to the social workers, they were like, "Oh, she's telling lies." I said, "Are you calling my 9-year-old autistic daughter a liar?" I mean, the whole case is just sinister, and they are known for abusing children in care, Sean, and it's just something needs to happen.
Well, people don't realise, and they've called me a nut for saying it, but the scum.
Oh, look, Sean, listen, they're in their own denial, okay? Every sane person in this country knows about Tusla corruption. They know how to gaslight parents. They know how to emotionally manipulate children, emotional abuse on both parents and children, deceived consent. I mean, the list goes off. And also, as well, parental alienation. You ask them what parental alienation is, they say, we do not know. But if you check their guideline book, Sean, they have down parental alienation is a form of child abuse. So how did they not recognise what's in their own guideline book?
They have their own rules, and they write it as they go along, to be honest, for each individual case. If they can get away with it. I don't want to be slagging off the whole of Tusla. There is some good people there. Exactly.
Whistleblower, Sean.
Exactly.
Whistleblower in the Grace case. I have to say I do admire her, and God bless her, because she did the decent thing and she came forward because she had a genuine love for kids. Sean, she did that job. She took on that job to the best of her ability. She seen there was corruption. She seen there was kids being raped, and she did her job properly.
She did, and that's why there was a payout, etc. But we need to be able to change our wording to these people. Let's not call our kids kids. They are our sons.
Property.
They are
our property.
No, they're not. They're our sons and our daughters, and we still have within the Constitution family law protecting our children.
Sean, I was up at the Tusla headquarters the other day, and I have the whole video, but we're having problems uploading it, so I have a man working with me to get that uploaded soon, but you've probably seen parts of the video. And basically, I turned around and said, the Constitution of Ireland, Bunrock na Héireann, goes on law, not legality, which is what social workers go on.
Yes. Yeah,
the Child Care Act of 1991 is an act, it's not a law.
That's right, and also, it's legality, it's statutes and legalities that they go on, and they don't go on law. So the thing is, that, as I said, there are people who are wanting to do good. Have you been able to find somebody within Tusla that would help you out?
I've actually been talking to a former social worker, and she's really, really, I mean, she is lovely. And see, I prior to all of this going on, I had a social worker in 2013, Sean, when I first got severe postnatal depression after my third baby. But like, things were grand. I never seen them. It's just you're kind of assigned one in a case where you get severe postnatal depression. But like, it was grand. It's just things start going downhill in 2016 when I got into this new relationship. I started having problems with the guards. And I mean, I have it on record as well. I posted it. We have a group on Facebook, Sean. It's called Our Stolen Children. And I have a detective from Mullingar ringing me up, telling me that there's a threat to my life. When I asked for documentation, he said, I don't have any documentation. I said, all calls rang in to Garda headquarters are recorded. And he said, I don't have this on record. So it's corruption and it's collusion, Sean. That's exactly what's going on in this country. The guards are in it as well.
I've got a question for you, obviously, and that is the new man in your life. Why was he such a danger? And what excuses did the guards give for that?
Well, the excuse was he's a Republican, and I mean, everyone knows the guards don't mind drug dealers, they don't mind paedophiles, they don't mind rapists, but they don't like Republicans. And that's just the bottom line, Sean. That's exactly what it is.
Right. And now, you asked to come on the show. You contacted me yesterday on Facebook, and
I did. That's correct.
Yeah, we had a wee chat. And really, I want you to be able to say everything you need and wanted to say on this platform. You know that there's nearly over 100 people a week coming on and listening to my shows. New people, I mean, on top of all the ones that have already been listening. And so we're getting a bit of a wider span now, and maybe there's someone out there who can legally, because I would chuck the blue book at them every single time and talk about Article 41.1.1, and that is that the family is sacrosanct.
Exactly. In the Constitution, I actually read that last night, Sean. Basically, what I want to say, Sean, is I have so many mothers. As you know, FM 104 did an interview there last week about Tusla in relation to Tusla as well, and so many parents came on giving their story. And like, there's so many parents contacting me now saying, I had another woman contact me saying that her children were took under a Section 12 by social workers. Everyone knows social workers can't take children on a Section 12.
What is a Section 12?
13.
What is a Section 12?
Section 12 is where the Gardaí can come in and remove your children. But social workers carried out a Section 12. Social workers are only allowed to carry out a Section 13 emergency care order.
Right, and that emergency care order needs to be put into place by someone, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a business, Sean. It's a money-making industry, and there's so many people coming forward now after me. And another young woman went up to Tusla headquarters the other day, and we met up with a head official, and I basically told him this whole video goes on for 40 minutes, Sean, and I told him everything about Tusla corruption, Tusla collusion, and he nearly dropped. I mentioned the Grace case. I mentioned what they did to Sergeant Morris McCabe.
Yes.
And I just basically looked at him and I said, when is this going to end? And I told him that I was going to pull the rug right out from underneath the whole lot of them, and he did look quite afraid. So now they're looking to meet up with me again next week.
Right.
Because I didn't mince my words, Sean. When
No,
I
I saw the video actually. The little bit that you did put out, it was only about a minute long. But the guy, you didn't hold back, did you? And the guy was in a very, how can I put it, awful state when you finished with it.
He didn't like the truth, Sean, when I mentioned about the Grace case and how she was raped that many times.
Yeah.
But you need to look at the bigger picture. I'm not just fighting for my own kids. Obviously, they're my main priority. I love my kids more than life itself. But when I read up about other cases, Sean, it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
And I'm just there thinking, who did they think they are taking kids? Like, only a narcissist or a psychopath would take on the role of a social worker. Because I'm telling you now, Sean, I would never be able to be a social worker. I would never be able to walk in and take little kids out of a family home.
No,
never in a million years would I be able to do it.
This is happening across the board, and it's a European-wide
English
thing.
laws are coming into place. You hear about this in England and in America, but you see, the whole thing with the in-camera rule, and I told Aidan Walters the other day, I said, because I think he mentioned the in-camera rule, I said, I don't recognise the in-camera rule. I said, I don't consent to it, I don't recognise it. And I told him in no basic terms, screw you and screw the in-camera rule too, so...
Well, they've used these two referendums, the gay rights referendum and the children's referendum, to basically, put single mothers in a very, very dubious and horrible position.
Can I just point out one thing?
You can,
it is single mothers they attack. It's parents with lack of family support.
Yes.
It's abuse victims. Now, they brought up a case of mine there in 2014 as well, a sexual abuse case. They're trying to use that against me as well. Which, I did turn around and say to them, how come it's always abuse victims you go for? Parents with lack of family support, and always middle class people, the working class people you always hit, because it's never rich that the children get took off rich people, because it just doesn't happen, because money talks, Sean. This is all about money. It's a money making industry, and everyone knows it.
It is. It's child trafficking, human trafficking. That's what it is. Yeah.
And our kids are being put into. To talk about Garda vetting. One of the foster parents involved in my kids. She is she's nearly 50, and she has a boyfriend, and he does be in the home with my kids. Now, one of my kids mentioned something about him kissing, giving her a kiss. I asked for a Garda vet. Now, no documentation was produced. So our kids are being in care. They're being abused. They are being abused. Everyone knows it. And you try to speak out about this, you are tarnished. Your name is destroyed. They threaten you. You have the guards threatening you. You have social workers. You have that corrupt judge in that district court threatening you. And I basically turned around and told him to his face there last week. I took off a jumper and I didn't realise what was wrote on my jumper. I said F you on my jumper, which, he thought I was insinuating F you to him, but whatever he wants to think, he can think. But I told him that he wasn't a judge, because he wanted me to recognise him as a judge. I said, you're not a judge, you're a businessman.
Yep, they're corporate entities. That is what they are. You're hitting nails on the heads, and sadly, with the loss of your children, you are actually hitting the nails on the head.
But they're going to try and silence me, Sean, and I'm sorry, but I'd be some mother if I was to continue sitting back, letting them get away with it. I told them I'd sooner die than let them get away with taking my kids and subject my kids to abuse. That's just as simple as that.
And if they return the children, tomorrow to you, would you be in a safe and sound place, and you'd be happy enough that you
they know. They
them?
just checked, they've inspected my house.
Yeah.
I go to all my meetings, Sean. They said the house was a lovely, warm, comfortable, stable home. They still won't give me my kids back. Now, I've told them, I said, the gloves are off, I'm not afraid to go public, I've done everything. I have been complying, but it's just everyone, Tusla will just not comply with parents. It's control, Sean. It is. You'll do as you're told, Laura, you'll do as you're told. Now, hold on a second, right? I'm a fully grown woman with kids. Why do they feel the need to have control and power on me, telling me who I can see, who I can't see? It's just ridiculous, Sean. It gets to a stage where I'm like, no, because it doesn't matter whether you comply with them or not. They will not give you your kids back.
No. Look, it really is disgusting what's going on, and I'm glad, Laura, that you're brave and strong enough to stand up against them. I just wish you well.
Sean, look, every parent gets afraid. They're like, Jesus, for me coming forward about this, they're really going to go to town on me. I'm up the 12th of May over my house as well, where Westmeath County Council are repossessing my home because my children aren't in it. Now, that's a breach of my human rights as well, what these bastards are doing. Excuse my French.
Can you repeat that again? They're doing what?
they're repossessing my family home because my children aren't in the home with me. I'm up in court the 12th of May. Like, everyone's seen my court order and all that crap. I'm up the 12th of May, and I'm probably more than likely going to lose my home because I'm just in the home by myself, and then the seller wasn't living here. And
well, again, the Constitution should support you with the loss of anyone's dwelling, you know.
Constitution is the Constitution, Sean, but when did these parasites ever follow the Constitution?
Well, we're going to have to put them under the book, you know. They put you under a book all the time, so we need to throw the book at them.
To try and wear parents down, Sean, break them down by stopping access, and actually my social welfare was cut as well. I'm living on €164 a week.
Right. No, I see that. They would take your child benefit away immediately, and that would be going.
Oh no, I have to pay back thousands, hundreds of thousands. I have to pay back, and
well, not if you find that you're in the right. Hopefully that your
I'm
children. I'm
spending the money on the kids anyway, Sean. So. I have no problem. There's probably a TV licence that was brought up for as well. So they're hitting me any way they can, Sean.
Right.
Stopping this, bringing me in and out of court, and they're trying to break me down.
I mean, last week I had Angela Reddick on the show, and her.
I know Angela. Angela's a lovely, lovely woman, and it's so unfair what's been done to her, Sean.
It seemed to have started with tax and insurance on a car.
Yeah.
So they're using any and every excuse to wheedle into single.
And she's a single parent as well, Sean, and they're trying to break her. They try and make parents have a nervous breakdown. But I mean, I keep telling parents, for God's sake, you know, breathe and just try and focus, because this is going to come to an end. There is a revolution coming in this country, Sean, and I can feel it. And I've said it a long time ago, and I'm going to say it again. When it comes to our children, you know, the gloves are off.
Yeah.
The gloves are off.
And I'm hoping this platform will be listened to by a lot more and more people, because the mainstream media is just full of lies, and in fact would support Tusla.
Of course, they do what they're told, Sean. You know that yourself. Any story they're told to print, they print. So that's why they're afraid to come forward. And I do have one thing to say to mainstream media, like, grow a pair of balls, the whole lot of these, because you know about the corruption in this country. You know about little children being sexually abused, assaulted in foster care. The list goes on, but yet they won't come forward. They won't get some form of empathy in their body and come forward and just say, look, someone needs to do the right thing here. We all have kids. But this could affect anyone, Sean. It could affect really anyone, and they're sitting there covering the whole thing up. Do you know what I have to say to them? Ye are just as bad as the perpetrators.
Absolutely. I call RTE Royal Television England, and it really is disgusting that they don't tell the truth. And it's very, very shocking to them when somebody actually gets away with, maybe on prime time, coming out with something, you know, managing to get in the audience, because most of us are profiled, Laura.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
People need to stop. Parents across this country, I'm sick and tired of hearing it. Oh, they can't do that. Social workers, courts go by legality, not common law. The Constitution of Ireland, Bunrock na Héireann, is common law, and everyone knows that. And that's there for a reason. And if it's not been followed, well, it's time to take the next step.
It is, and you know, I think you're doing the right thing coming forward. You're very brave to do it, but also try and get as much support as you can. As you say, you've got a group on Facebook, and that's very important. And the more people that come together, because they do not like people coming forward in numbers. That's what really bothers them.
Well, I'm already getting blamed already. I had the guards down at my door the other evening, going on about posting stuff on social media and threatening me with the in-camera rule. And I said, the in-camera what? I said, sorry, I don't recognise that. What are you talking about? There's no such a thing. That's what I turned around and
also social media. I mean, I want to put this in a light sort of way. A lot of people put their meals and their good things on social media. We should be, at this point in our lives, putting up good things about Tusla and the guards and the civil service and all the rest of it. But no, you know, there is no reason for us not to put good things up if they were doing good. We'd actually say, isn't it great that the Garda did their job? Isn't it great that the Tusla did their job? But at the moment, they're not. They're proving to be corporate criminals. And we need to be public with it.
Like, Sean, the thing about it is I was an activist. I was involved in a whole number of things there the last 2 years. And there was the whole thing with, I don't know if you've heard of him, Mike Gavin.
Of course, of course.
I was involved in that campaign. I was out at every protest. outside solicitors' office and the whole. And I feel now my punishment of the state is, who does she think she is, and the kind of start from the bottom to try to pick the weak links and take them off. And we've said this, like they've come at me big time, Sean. I mean,
well, I was arrested myself, and it was horrible, and a couple of months in a mental unit. So they're
doing that to a number of people.
I'm only recovering from
mental
that.
Hospitals.
Yeah, I'm only recovering from that now, and my strength and my power, I'm quite aware of, and now so are they. They're aware of it. And there is no way that they can keep us down from speaking the truth.
Yeah.
This platform's not going to go anywhere. It's going to stay and be supportive of anyone who wants to come forward. And Laura, I thank you so much for coming on Out of the Bag and letting us know this. As I said, is there anything that you think you might have missed out in saying? And there's no plea. We shouldn't be pleading with anybody, but there should be people out there that can help you.
I'm not going to plead, Sean, with anyone. I do wish parents, please don't be afraid. This is what Tusla want and the state want, is for parents to be afraid. To try and guard parents, that's stupid in camera. Listen to me, okay? I'm after coming forward, okay? I've nothing left to lose, so they can do what they want to me. But I'm just, for the sake of your children, don't be afraid. Please come forward.
Yeah.
Think of your children being abused by people that they're only in it for the money. Foster carers, most of them. I'm not going to say all of them, Sean, because there is good people out there that are foster carers.
It's exactly the same as Freemasonry. You know, the ones at the top know what's going on, and I mean right to the top.
It's a whole paedophile ring, Sean. That's what it is. It's a paedophile ring.
Well, this is the problem, is that there are a lot of good people who think that they're doing good, you know, the Lions Club and Rotary clubs and all this type of stuff, and they're all linked to the Freemasonry. And it's a bit like, not every priest is a paedophile. I can guarantee that every archbishop is. You know, but
sure, Sean, they were going on about me. Tusla went on as well in one of my reports that I went to St Vincent's de Paul in 2011, and I start laughing and said, is that not what it's there for? So to see, like, to just try and use any small thing against you, and I start laughing.
And why shouldn't you go? Why shouldn't you go to St Vincent's de Paul?
Yeah, well, that's what the judge turned. Now, in fairness to the judge, he did turn around and say, well, okay, right, where are you getting at with this? And I just turned around and said, I'm sorry, if I'm being condemned for going to St Vincent's de Paul, shouldn't every other parent in this country have their children took off them as well? So, like, the judge kind of did, or should I say businessman, he did give out to social services, and he said, like, what sort of crap Malone is this? Are you spouting that way? If the woman was in financial difficulty and needed help, why shouldn't she go to St Vincent's de Paul? That's what it's there for. Exactly,
and people donate money and goods to St Vincent's de Paul to help people who need it. So that's just a bullshit factor. Then, and now when they get that desperate, I think it's really, really good that we just keep going, because they will be found out in their lies. So stand up and be strong.
Sean, I've good news for you. I have on record a social worker. Now, this happened back in September, but she admitted it there the other day when I was at a meeting that the foster mother did in fact hit my 9-year-old autistic daughter and call her a hunchback. I have her on record saying this.
Yeah, look, they're splitting families up as well all around the country, and not just taking their children, they're taking the fathers away from the house.
Yeah.
They're doing
Can I also say as well, Sean, that just to let parents know, Judge Richard Humphreys from the High Court, I have a documentation here that I've showed a load of parents. He encourages, this is on a formal documentation from the High Court, Sean, he encourages parents to record in social services for their own safety.
Absolutely, and I fully agree. Do you know, when we tried to record certain people recently, we were called criminals. Well, do you know what? What they were actually doing whilst being recorded was criminal.
Yeah.
And that's important to know.
And we're not criminals, Sean, they're the criminals. And I firmly believe any social worker involved in the child abuse cover-up, like my own case, like the Grace case, and I did ask the main man in the office the other day up at the Tusla headquarters, why are social workers not being prosecuted? Yeah,
well, that's one we're going to maybe have to take them to court in their own out-of-office names.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what's going to happen in the future. Yeah. The Irish rebellion, the Irish Revolution, if there is one, Laura, will have to be taking certain guards out of their uniform and their office and prosecuting them as human beings.
Sean, it's coming. It is coming. I'm telling you now, it's coming. I haven't been wrong about a lot of things, but there is another rebellion coming. Well, it's coming very soon.
Well, let's hope so. And listen, it's been really good talking to you, and I know that it's a very hard thing for you to do, but you sound so strong in it, and you're going to continue to try and fight for your children.
I am, Sean. I've told them, and I mean, they don't like how calm I am now at meetings, and I'm not crying or getting upset, and they know I'm awake. I'm not blinded. I'm not blinded by them. I'm not emotionally manipulated by them anymore. I'm fully awake. I know what they're doing. I know they're trying to gaslight me a lot of the times, and you know.
They want reactions, don't they? Because they know that human beings are reacting. Yeah. Look, I'm an emotional guy, you know.
But so am I. I'm quite emotional, Sean, especially when it comes to children. I really am. And at the start of this, I couldn't even function because I was crying 7 days and nights of the week. But I just feel now, you know, I still do cry, Sean, but I just have so much strength in me. I can feel it. There's just this fire inside me, and it won't burn out until I get my kids home. Well, and they know it too, and they're afraid.
I've always said, you know, there's no more bigger power than a woman, and there's no more bigger power than a mother.
Yeah.
So look, Laura Kelly, it's been over half an hour now we've been chatting, and I'm going to try and get this onto next week's show on Wednesday. Okay.
Okay, Sean, that's perfect.
I'll just have to talk to another. Guest and see if they'll help us out, like they did with Angela Reddick last week.
Okay, that's perfect, Sean.
Okay, so Laura Kelly, thank you so much for coming on Out of the Bag, and I pray that, and I do pray sometimes. People say it's religious. No, it's not. It's just positive prayer.
Positive prayer, Sean, and I don't even pray to God. I pray like to, you know, even a deceased one that you lost, that you're really close to. It's just, it makes you feel better. It does. It gives you the positive energy you need to continue on and just keep fighting.
Well, I'll use the words, I pray that you do have your children back, along with many people around Ireland that are suffering the same consequences. Some of them, I think they're alone. And can you mention your Facebook page again?
I'm on Facebook. I'm down as Laura E. Kelly, and we have a group on Facebook as well. It's called Our Stolen Children. So if anyone wants to...
What's it called?
Our Stolen Children.
Right, okay. So if you want to get onto that, if anyone's listening, if you have problems, that's the place where you can actually meet people that were...
There's actually a lot of good guys in this group, Sean, that know the ins and outs of the law, and they're helping so many people. So if anyone needs help in regards to Tusla, just come forward, and they will get the help that they need.
That's brilliant. Laura Kelly, thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording now and wish you all the best, and I'm sure we'll be meeting at some demonstration, maybe even an anti-Tusla demonstration very soon.
Oh, we will for sure, Sean. We will, with the help of God. And thanks very much for having me on air. I'm just doing the interview, Sean. I do really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks very much. So that's Laura Kelly on Out of the Bag, and this is a pre-record, just to let you know. It is the 29th. It is Saturday afternoon. Thanks very much, Laura. Take care.
Thank you, Sean.
And welcome back to Out of the Bag.